Condolence motions are often about the loss of life, and I'm already struggling, which is going to be a long 5 minutes, sorry. And today we mourn the life we lost in the Longwood Bushfire, Max Hobson. My heart goes out to Julie and Max's family and friends during what is an unimaginable, difficult time. He's known as a great person, far and wide, with significant impact in the Hereford industry. Today, I also want to speak about something our community is carrying. That's grief, fear, and the heartbreak of losing so much so fast. Speaker, on the Friday of the catastrophic fireban day, I received a call from our neighbour. His wife's my best friend, and we're raising children together. And he screamed in the phone, "I'm alive, I'm alive. Tell her I'm alive." Sorry. Because for our families throughout our region, Longwood, Ruffy, Euroa Highlands, and right across the state, this summer did not just take homes and livestock, paddocks and fences. A devastating fire tore through our region, and it shook something deeper. It shook people's sense of safety. It's the fear of driving down a road you've known your whole life and suddenly checking the tree line. It's the fear of hot wind. It's the fear of a text message, a siren, or that relentless bloody beep, beep, beep of the Vic emergency app. Your heart rate will never stop rising when you hear it. It's packing the car in a hurry and telling your children, grab what you love most. Important documents, photo albums, the pets, your wedding dress. And then trying to explain why the bike can't come because it can't fit, or why the chickens in the cubby house have to stay, why the dream you spent your life building with your partner can't be packed in the back seat, and why Dad has decided to stay and defend. And you drive away praying that there will be something to come home to. But at that exact moment, others are driving as well. The pager goes off, the boots go on, and the truck out the gate, driving towards flames while their own families sit at home waiting. More than 400 local volunteers fought our fire. Farmers, mums and dads, tradies, neighbours, people who had every reason to stay and fight their own and protect their own property chose to protect everyone else. Some stayed on the truck for 3 days straight, some for several weeks. Weeks of smoke and heat, weeks without proper sleep, weeks of seeing things that no one should have to see. And they will carry the toll of those memories forever. They were led by local captains who carried enormous responsibility for their crews and their communities. Will Fenech of Hildene, Carly Compt, Seymour, Michael Becks of Whiteheads Creek, Chris Baker, Crichton's Creek, Sean Harmon, Longwood, Steve Brooke, Loxley, Damon Rezet, Euroa, Jeff Jennings, Violet Town, David Hamilton, Strathbogie, and many, many, many more. They stepped up without hesitation. And when they finally came home, exhausted, there was another army waiting, of neighbours cooking meals, dropping off supplies, checking in, making sure they could rest before heading straight back out again. Friends and colleagues, the member for Kew, dropping in undies for me, a clean shirt, clothes for the children and nappies because we couldn't get home, and beer and socks for our community because we had nothing. I spoke to George Noy, the Ruffy captain, on Thursday night in the midst of it all. 30 hours he had been on the truck, he had no sleep, and homes had been lost in Ruffy. The town was lost within hours. And he felt like he didn't do enough. He called me with the shock in his heart. But I want to say he did do enough. They all did enough. They protected lives and homes and people's dreams. And when the flames passed, they stepped straight into helping their neighbours organise fodder, water, feed and supplies. Because that is what our community does. We don't wait, we just get on with it. Alongside the loss, we have seen the very best of who we are as a community and who we are as Victorians. Within hours, the Tubb family called me and said, "What do we need?" Within 30 minutes, we announced a fodder drive on the radio. The Tubb family opened their property and turned it into the heart of the response, moving $2.5 million worth of fodder in 2 weeks. We wanted to keep stock alive and we wanted to keep farmers farming. We saw Don and Felicity Sloman, Colleen Felinetto, Anne Douglas and Katie Hill making sure families who had lost everything still had clothes, food and water. We saw hay runners cross state lines through the night, truck drivers refusing to fill up their tanks so more could go to someone else, bakeries, cafes and the IGA feeding volunteers while their own business was hurting. It still is. Rotary lines and RSL showing up without being asked. People stopping work, putting their own income aside and simply saying, "What do you need?" and then just doing it. I remember sitting that Friday night with my sister Clementine and our 6 children and our pets and working dogs and a small army of zoo. And we were watching the fire app, zooming in, wondering if we still had a home. That helpless feeling, and there are so many people who lived that nightmare, you just feel lost. Decades of work, livelihoods, livestock, memories gone in a minute. But the hardest job of all, young people walking burnt paddocks, euthanasing stock because help couldn't get there fast enough. And I personally thank Ash Rolling and Onion. Thank you seems so inadequate for the job that they had to do. If there is one thing that we need to change, it's that no farmer should ever have to put down their own livestock, wildlife or pets because the system is too slow. Because it's not resilience, that's actually failure. We lost one life, but we also need to care for the living, for the trauma, the exhaustion, the firefighters who can't sleep, the parents holding it together for their families, some falling apart on camera, the families wondering whether they have the energy to start again. Our responsibility in this place is not just to mourn, it's to stand with them, to make sure recovery is real, to make sure support actually turns up, to make sure no regional family ever feels forgotten. A mighty fire tore through our region, but it did not break us. What I have seen is courage, generosity and decency, and that is the value of Victorians. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things for each other. Yesterday, walking off our burnt property, I saw green shoots pushing through blackened ground. I see it everywhere, and the first shoots of trees is emotional. There is no rain. This is resilience. Our land is tough, and so are our people. So today, when we honour the life we lost, Max Hobson, I want to also honour those who ran toward the flames, the community who was courageous enough to protect each other. And we make the promise that we will not let them rebuild on their own. I also need to do a shout out to Jack Bush, sorry, that sounds terrible. I've just got him as Jack on Siri, don't call Siri. We moved mountains together. We reconnected water, we got shipping containers delivered, we changed the limit on the freeway within an hour, I think. We put up signs so that this community response was safe and supported, and I'm so proud. We got Tones and I, but Jack, you promised me Zach Bush, so it's on the record, mate. There are too many legends to name in 5 minutes. I apologise. But I just want to say I'm so proud of my community.